Call Jenny Salisa.
Mr Speaker, I'm honoured to take a call on this bill, the Statute Amendment Bill number 4 today. Mr Speaker, I would like to first of all acknowledge all of our parliamentary colleagues who have worked on this bill, and in particular the Chair of the Government Administration Committee, Honourable Ruth Dyson, for all of her work and for all of the work of her committee. The Statute Amendment Bill, Mr Speaker, has been proposed because it amends 34 other legislations. Its purpose is to fix previous mistakes. We acknowledge the need for fixing and updating legislation that are out of date, as well as to bringing them in line with other laws and at the same time fixing any technical problems that they may have. The Labour Party supports the Statute Amendment Bill number 4, including all of the amendments contained in the bill. Mr Speaker, as a new MP, this is my first time to make a statement on an omnibus bill. And one of the things I've got to learn is how to pronounce that term properly. Omnibus. And I just found out as part of reading up and researching this particular bill that, as covered in our standing orders, this is one of the very few bills where every single member of Parliament has to agree before it progresses any further. Now, I agree with this bill, Mr Speaker, so I will not be that one member today that disagrees with it. But for me, as a new member, it's fascinating to learn that there is a bill that every single member must agree with. Mr Speaker, it is also very pleasing as a new MP to find out that there are certain bills like this one where we come together as representatives of our electorate, those who have been elected by the people of Aotearoa New Zealand, and to find out that we can indeed work together, that we can indeed work alongside each other to come to an agreement on amending 34 different legislation. And I find that very, very pleasing, Mr Speaker, that we can actually work together on something like this. Now, one of the changes that I want to cover, Mr Speaker, and it is not one that has been covered by many of the other speakers previously, is the changes that is proposed to Part 31, which will amend the Tokelau Territorial Sea and Exclusive Economic Zone Act 1977. Now, amending the Tokelau Act C and Exclusive Economic Zone Act 1977, Mr Speaker, is very important to the people of Tokelau, one of our neighbouring Pacific countries, and indeed it's important because they are, a realm country, so every Tokelauan person is a New Zealand citizen. Tokelau and some of our other Pacific neighbours do not have very many natural resources, Mr Speaker. The fishes in the vast Pacific Ocean is one of those resources, so may I state that it is incumbent on Aotearoa New Zealand to ensure that we get this right for the people of Tokelau. I would also like to quote from Part 31 of this bill, Mr Speaker, which relates to penalties that are currently applicable to fisheries offences in Tokelau. These penalties have not been amended since 1977, and they are out of step with the penalties in the New Zealand legislation. In contrast, the penalties that are applicable to fisheries breaches in the New Zealand EEZ have been amended several times since 1970s. I'd also like to say, Mr Speaker, that the Government of Tokelau have approved the amendments that are proposed on this bill. Clause 107 of the bill amends the maximum penalty in Section 6 of the Act for foreign fishing craft fishing in the territorial sea of Tokelau from $100,000 to $250,000, and in the case of an unlicensed foreign fishing craft, Clause 108 of the bill amends the maximum penalty in Section 8 of the Act from $100,000 to $500,000. It is my sincere hope, Mr Speaker, that when and if any of these clauses are breached, that these are fines that are imposed to discourage illegal fishing in the territorial waters of Tokelau. Now, one of the other changes discussed at the Select Committee, Mr Speaker, concerns the official information requests. This is important, especially to members of the public who lodge Official Act information requests. At the Select Committee, one of the amendments proposed would have made it possible for those who are not accustomed to writing or to handing formal requests to have their official information application be made orally. Now, the committee has allowed this, and it is possible, however, only on the condition that people do so only when it is necessary to clarify their request. The bill also removes clauses 49 subsection 1 and 51 in part 17, and this would amend the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987, as well as clauses 70 and 71 in part 23, and this would amend the Official Information Act 1982. Mr. Speaker, this is a non-controversial bill, and we fully support all of the amendments that the Statute Amendment Bill number 4 proposes. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.
Members, this debate is concluded. The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it.
Animal Welfare Amendment Bill number 2, third reading. Antarctica Environmental Protection Amendment Bill, third reading. Biosecurity Amendment Bill, third reading. Births, Deaths, Marriages and Relationships Registration Amendment Bill, third reading. Commodity Levies Amendment Bill, third reading. Copyright Amendment Bill, third reading. Forests Amendment Bill, third reading. Friendly Societies and Credit Unions Amendment Bill, third reading. Governor-General Amendment Bill, third reading. Heavy Engineering Research Levy Amendment Bill, third reading. Judicial Conduct Commissioner and Judicial Conduct Panel Amendment Bill, third reading. Land Transport Amendment Bill, third reading. Land Transport Management Amendment Act 2008 Amendment Bill, third reading. Local Electoral Amendment Bill, and third reading. Local Government Act 1974 Amendment Bill, third reading. Local Government Act 2002 Amendment Bill, third reading. Local Government Auckland Council Amendment Bill, third reading. Local Government Official Information and Meetings Amendment Bill, third reading. Marine Mammals Protection Amendment Bill, third reading. Misuse of Drugs Amendment Act 1978 Amendment Bill, third reading. National Animal Identification and Tracing Amendment Bill, third reading. National Parks Amendment Bill, third reading. Ngāti Manuhiri Claims Settlement Amendment Bill, third reading. Official Information Amendment Bill, third reading. Ombudsman Amendment Bill, third reading. Pork Industry Board Amendment Bill, third reading. Reserves Amendment Bill, third reading. Sale and Supply of Alcohol Amendment Bill, third reading. Sentencing Amendment Bill, third reading. Summary Proceedings Amendment Bill, third reading. Tariff Amendment Bill, third reading. Tokelau Territorial Sea and Exclusive Economic Zone Amendment Bill, third reading. Trade and Endangered Species Amendment Bill, third reading. Wildlife Amendment Bill, third reading.
Call on Government Order of the Day number 35.
Taxation Kiwi